Conor McGregor just announced his UFC comeback, so here's how you can get rich off of it in 2 simple steps. Now, of course, I'm gonna correlate it back to OFM and the OFM business, since that's what 99% of my entire audience do anyway. And I'm gonna give you a very specific example on how you can, first of all, attract as many people as possible from these social events, and B, how you can make the most money off of it. So this video will be split in 2 different parts. First part being how you can get the most attention possible via those social events. The second part is, like I said, how you can monetize them, make the most money on the OnlyFans profile itself. So to get to the first part, how can you get attention from events like, for example, the McGregor comeback? Now, for those uneducated within you who don't know what's going on, big MMA fighter Conor McGregor, like biggest one in the sport, after 2 or 3 years of not fighting, comes back and fights in, like, while I record this, one about like a month. In like 30 days, he has this big comeback, big fight. Every MMA fan, every fight fan is interested in this. And I'm gonna break down how you can use this to your advantage to get attention. Now, let's just assume you're doing Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. Every other platform isn't as good for stuff like this, since there's no real virality algorithm on Reddit, for example. Now, let's take TikTok, since you can pretty much apply to the other socials as well. What you want to do is, and I've covered this in a different video at length, is you want to cross niche your content. You want to do your specific content that your audience already likes, being whatever branding you may have, sexual content, interesting content, whatever it may be, and cross niche it with the UFC fan base. So how are you gonna do that? Let me give you a very basic example on how cross niching works. Let's say you have a car page and you post cool car videos. That's nice, that's cool. You obviously want to reach people that are interested in fucking cars. Now, in order to get audiences from other niches, let's say for example Star Wars, if you were to cross niche, you would post a video of a Lamborghini driving down the street with a Star Wars rap, with like a Star Wars kind of look, and with some cool Star Wars music. Because now you got your car community that is watching the video, that is interested. This is one niche. And you also got the fucking Star Wars dorks that are interested. So you got 2 of the big niches coming together, and from the Star Wars dorks, maybe like 20% are actually interested in your content. So you just grew your entire audience by 20%, which is huge. Now, how do we get back to the McGregor thing? What you want to do is do your usual content with some UFC examples. Bring some UFC theme in it. Let's say you do like mostly fucking sexual content on TikTok, the usual of M stuff. The people who are doing it for a while know what I talk about. Basic videos that just go around the topic of being sexual, being horny, being a female that possesses tits, ass, and other gender attributes. So nothing original, but you get the point. Now, what you can easily do is just sexualize the UFC content. So for example, me doing a video where the text says, me after 5 minutes watching McGregor's comeback with the skinny shy guy, some shit like that, and then some sexual sounds, or her doing like a sexual pose on the couch. You get where I'm going. So you can easily cross niche with the entire UFC fan base, and this is easily possible with every branding. Doesn't matter if your creator has a volleyball branding, doesn't matter if there's not even a niche existing, you can always do stuff like this. Now, there's 2 major factors that decide if you do it successfully. Now, the first one being you use the correct hooks. So what is the first thing the people see when they watch your video? Of course, it doesn't make sense where you do normal stuff without any UFC reference for the first 5 seconds and then in the end you mention it. Because as you can imagine, all the UFC fans won't be interested. They don't know there's some UFC stuff going on. How should they know? So you have to make sure that from the first second, from the second the video starts, people know it is about McGregor comeback and the UFC. So they get hooked, they watch the video. How do you do that? You can do that by having like a screen behind you where a UFC fight is playing. You can have a text that implies, like I said in the example. You can have UFC merch on or some boxing gloves. Whatever it may be, make sure the people know what the video is about from the beginning of the video. This is very important. Otherwise, the people won't even get to see the whole content because they'll just scroll away. And second of all is to use the right hashtags. I've done a complete video about this in the past, since it's like a big fucking rabbit hole. It's one of the more successful videos on this channel. I'll link them up there. But it's very important to use the correct niche hashtags. Now, I can just suggest to you to use between like 3 and 5 hashtags, 2 of them being specific to your creator's looks in this case. So for example, if she's blonde, say hashtag blonde girl, hashtag blondie, whatever. And then the other 2 or 3 hashtags are UFC based. So like hashtag McGregor comeback, hashtag Chandler, which is the guy he's fighting, hashtag UFC 320, which is the event's name as far as I believe. Now, this is how you can get the UFC fans to give you attention and to go to your creator. And if you do everything right, and if you do follow the stuff that I've said many times, you should be able to convert a large pool of the entire audience to your OnlyFans profile, to get them to subscribe and to chat with you. Now, here's where we go to the second part and how you can monetize this. Because of course, you won't get rich off some fucking subscription earnings and the $3 subscription price that they pay like once a month. This is not gonna make you rich. So here's how you can step by step make them pay the most money to you, even with the UFC reference. Of course, your normal chatting system should do the rest, but here's some little cheat codes if there's some big events. Now, here it comes down to how many people you get to subscribe. If you get 50 subscribers overall from this whole attention thing from the first part, you don't really have to bother making like a whole UFC theme around your scripts, around your messages, whatever. Like nobody fucking cares. Was a nice attempt, you failed. No, it's okay. But if you have a viral video, you make some fans off of it, let's say like 300 to 500, there's a good percentage of your audience on OnlyFans that actually is interested in this type of stuff. So it would be dumb to not profit off of it, especially if it's a big event. And I can tell you from experience, these big fight events, they convert massively because everyone watches them. There's huge example, Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, the McGregor comeback, all this type of stuff. You would be surprised how many people who are not into fighting actually watch this shit and actually are at least interested in this specific event. Now, to get back to the topic, if you have a lot of people who subscribed from the UFC content, you can create a whole UFC script that you can sell. Meaning, you create a script a couple days in advance and it seems like the creator is watching the UFC event live. So when the day comes down, when it's like fucking 8 p.m., 9 p.m. when the whole thing starts, you can be texting on OF, sending like a mass message. Hey, are you watching this stuff? Yeah, I'm on the couch, I'm being bored. Oh, this first fight was so interesting. By the way, here are my titties. You can be very creative with this. And if you're kind of smart and you know what you're doing, I believe you know how to prepare for this shit. You can have like another fight, like being in the background, quickly filming it, going back to the creator. There's some smart stuff that you can do. So even on this one evening where the UFC event takes part, if you set it correctly, you tell the people, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be watching the fight and I'm going to be online if you want to chat with me, you'll make a shit ton of money. Now, if you want to make this even better and you want to know who specifically is interested in this shit, do as I say now. You're gonna send a mass message to all your fans and you're gonna do a little sequence. You can call this like a jab, straight hook and boxing. You're gonna send the mass message, which is the jab. First message everybody sees there. You're gonna be like, hey, are you watching the UFC fight on Saturday? This is the jab. Then he's gonna reply something, yes, no, oh, my wife doesn't let me watch it, whatever it is. Then there's the second message, because it's a message sequence, which is the straight. So the reply to his reply, right? Then you're gonna say, hey, if you watch it, I would be glad to watch it with you, because I'm gonna be bored like most of the time. I don't really understand it, but I just want to experience, whatever. Then he's gonna reply something like, yeah, hon, let's do it. And then the hook is the final thing where you either go into a script or like end the whole conversation, whatever. You get the point. So you either get to know how many people actually want to watch this shit and gonna be online during the event, and also you can set dates with the people. If they say, yeah, I'm gonna watch it, you can be like, okay, let's have a cute little OnlyFans date at like 8 p.m. tomorrow. I'm gonna prepare some cute stuff, hee hee ha hoo hoo. Now, you got like 50 dates scheduled and half of them are gonna buy a whole script. So if a script is like $200, you got like 4 or 5 grand in the bag just from doing a mass message and creating a script. And this is rookie numbers, right? If you do it correctly, especially with the marketing stuff that I told you, there is an easy 10 grand just from the UFC event itself. And we can scale this up to multiple creators, to big influencers, to having a whole marketing campaign before the event 2 weeks prior. You commenting under McGregor's post saying on the event day, I'm gonna do something crazy, going viral with all this shit. Like there's levels to this whole stuff. So you can 100% prepare for this type of stuff. Now, I've just explained the basic system behind all this stuff. You can apply this blueprint that I just gave to you to literally every social event, every major scandal, every viral topic that you can find on the social medias anytime they happen. And the biggest cheat code of them all is being the first one to do it. Like, you have to spend a shit ton of time on social media to find this stuff. Of course, UFC events, okay, you know, bad example. But let me take something other. Let's say a celebrity has a scandal. Some fucking celebrity goes viral for saying the N-word, something like that. Now, if you're the first one to see this, or when Andrew Tate got arrested, if you're the first one to see this on social media, you're scrolling and you see this, you call up your creators, you're saying, look, I'm gonna send you a list, if you have the time, if you're comfortable right now, record the stuff, directly upload it. By the time the other people, the mainstream hears from it, you're gonna be the first creator on their For You page, and they're gonna see it, they're gonna share it, they're gonna hear it from you. So that's how you get fucking viral with these events. So you have to spend time on social media, you have to be the first one to post about it, and you always have to create a whole marketing plan. Like I did in this video. How are you gonna get attention from that? How are you gonna get the maximum amount of views? And second of all, how are you gonna monetize it? Are you even gonna monetize it, or are you just gonna get the views, get the subscribers, and fuck off? Because some things you can't sexualize, some things, like, for example, if a celebrity says the N-word, it's hard to create a script around that. It's not impossible, but hard to do. Now, this is everything for this video. If you need more advice like this, click the first link in the description to join 5,000 other like-minded agency owners in my completely free Telegram community who are gonna help you with everything you ever needed help with. And if that's not enough, I've got 2 free ebooks in the description as well. No sign up, no payment required. Gonna give you an entire step-by-step breakdown on how to make 6 to 7 figures in this industry within a few months. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.